Hi, Drew. Thank you so much for joining us on the Ask an Email Expert series. So glad to have you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a personal professional question is with your inbox, whether you have a love or hate relationship, what's your go-to email productivity tip when you dive into your inbox in the morning or in the afternoon?
Yeah, it's definitely more on the hate side, but one thing that I try to do is have a star system. So when I get my inbox, I try to organize them so that I know which are the most like highest priority that I need to handle ASAP. Another thing that I really like to do is use templates in. So I don't think a lot of people know that even in Gmail you can set up templates, save them, and then that helps just quickly respond to templated emails. And then when I'm also sending emails to like a lot of client work, I'll use you can save contacts together. And so if you're sending to multiple people on a regular basis, you can just quickly input the contact and it brings everyone involved in, which is helps streamline that.
Nice, nice. I did not know that you could have templates saved within Gmail. Would you mind just telling me a little bit about that and how it helps?
Yeah, you have to go into the settings and turn it on. Once you have that, it's in your window. So when you're like drafting an email, you can just select from template and you can save a bunch of different ones. One gotcha about that is that you when you save the template, you have to remove your email signature or else it'll duplicate that. So there's a little bit, and I really wish they would let you send to like have a template associated with email addresses that you're sending to. But like I said, you can go and make that a little bit easier on yourself by adding that as a contact in Gmail.
Nice, nice. Thank you for that. All right, then I would say I know that you do some email marketing and you're very versed in the email industry. What are the top three tools that you would suggest to others that you've used that you love?
Yeah, so I work at an agency and we do a lot of manual outreach for link building purposes. So essentially we send highly tailored emails, really customized. And so a tool that I use on a daily basis is BuzzStream. And they have a Chrome extension, which is super helpful for tracking the outreach and make sure you don't duplicate efforts, making sure you have visibility of the email and you can follow up if needed. And also they have templates, which helps with keep track of those. Another tool that I use a lot of Chrome extensions to be honest. So Hunter for email, like finding emails, super helpful. Um, and then just what's another one? Oh, I don't know if this is like really the same thing, but I use Ahrefs a lot for finding email, like finding outreach prospects.
That works
And
too.
so,
Both work in
yeah,
harmony, Hunter and Ahrefs.
right.
Okay, so what's a typical day like for an email expert in an agency or an industry?
Yeah. So typically you'd open up your inbox, a lot of time spent in email, which is fine. You would look at, if you had any responses from the previous day or week, sometimes even months or years. I've had responses come in years later. Um, and then that's when I would probably, like, depending on the response, send a templated response, whether if they're asking for advertising, we would have a response for that. Or if they have any questions, then I can manually answer those. And then we go out and find prospects using essentially looking for similar topics, go through backlink profiles for those pieces that have done well, and look for other like be like, oh, we've seen you've covered this. Here's another piece that's similar or enhanced better. And so a lot of manual time, and then you would say like, hi, I read your piece. Like you add a little bit of customization that helps them connect with you, which I feel like is the most important component. If you can actually bring something of value to them or of like show that you actually took an interest in them. I think that's the most helpful component. Yeah, I think the trends are going to continue where personalization is vital. I think another thing that could become really important is like omni-channel interactions where like maybe you go follow them on Twitter, like their tweet. So they see your name pop up in multiple locations and therefore more likely to think of you as a friend, I guess. Not necessarily a friend, but you
A
should be
familiar
friendly. You shouldn't be
brand.
sending right. Right. If your name shows up more times, it's more likely to be memorable and more likely to be viewed positively, especially if you're liking their stuff. And so just keeping the personalization like really tailored, like don't ever send an email if it unless you have their name. I feel like it's just really important. But
All right. And for all the other brands who are probably trying to do the same thing in personalization, because they're all trying to personalize, all bombarding, whether you're on social, whether you're in email, whether you're there, what are some ways that, or one thing that you see 2022 brands could do to help to differentiate themselves more in the email industry?
yeah, that's a great question. I feel like from a branding perspective, there's so much out there, and like I get these newsletters that just have 20 articles, and there's no way that I'm going to spend that much time going through your email newsletter, reading every article.
All
Like,
those articles, like it's like you're giving
right,
work.
right. Surface the highest like signal versus noise, and I'll read it. Like, give me the number one article, or give me one tip, give me some value right away. Like, don't give me 20 pieces of like little bit of value. I want the biggest value add possible in that email.
And how do you think in terms of because how we communicate now through email, like person to person, even in outreach or even in sending emails, how do you think that's going to change? Because we're much nicer in our emails now for this and last year compared to previously. How do you think email communication for next year for 2022, what's that going to be like person to person in the corporate
Well,
industry?
yeah, well, I hope it stays the same. I feel like there was a lot of compassion in emails. Like a lot of people were saying like stay healthy or hope everything's good with you and your family. And I just think that's like common courtesy and that trend should continue. I feel like moving forward, just I would love for there to be more like a good fit for the email and the recipient. Do your research, find out who at the company you need to talk to about this and whatever your request may be, and find that person. Don't say, "Oh, can you please connect me to the right person if this isn't you?" I just don't appreciate that. I'm like, "No, I'm just going to delete your email. Just go find that person. It's available. I promise you. It's somewhere. It's on LinkedIn. It's on Twitter. It's on their website." So
Do the work, be more personal, and come with value. These are the things that Drew, you are sharing with our audience, and I really appreciate it. And do you have any last comments for our audience before we wrap up this session?
no, you recapped that perfectly. You said it way better than I ever could. So Victoria, thank you for the time.
All right, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining us for another quick episode of Ask the Email Expert. And be sure to check into our other videos that are coming up for the week. And we'll see you guys next week.